Welcome students in another session of grade 12 biology chapter 9 part 2. In this video we will learn about the plant breeding, single cell, protein, SCP and tissue culture. Plant breeding is a manipulation of plant species to create desired plants suitable for better cultivation, better yields and disease resistance. There was a green revolution that is the development and flourishing of agriculture. It was depended on plant breeding. The classical plant breeding involves hybridization of pure lines and artificial selection to produce desirable traits. Now there is a molecular genetic tools that is used for plant breeding. What are the desirable traits for plant breeding? Number one is to increase the crop yield and crop quality. Next is increase tolerance to environment stress like salinity, extreme temperatures and drought. Third one is increase resistance to insect, pest and pathogen. So these are the desirable traits for which the plant breeding is performed. The main steps in plant breeding are collection of genetic variability. Number two is evaluation and selection of parents. Number third is cross hybridization of selected parents. Fourth is selection and testing of superior recombinants. And fifth one is testing, release and commercialization of the hybrid. Let's learn in detail about all these steps. Number one is collection of genetic variability. In wild varieties of many crops, pre-existing genetic variability is available. Collection and preservation of wild varieties, species, and relatives of the cultivated species is a prerequisite for effective exploitation of natural genes. The entire collection of plants, seeds having all the alleles for all genes in a given crop is called germplasm collection. The second step is evaluation and selection of parents. The germplasm is evaluated for identifying plants with desirable characteristics. Selected plants are multiplied and used for hybridization. The pure lines are created wherever desirable and possible. Third one is the cross hybridization among the selected plants, selected parents. Here in this process, the desired characters are genetically combined from two different parents to produce the hybrid plant. Here you can see on your screen that high protein quality of one plant is combined with the disease resistance from the another plant. So we have the plant that is hybrid which have both the qualities of the high protein as well as disease resistant. But there is a limitation of this method. The limitation is it is very time consuming and tedious process. Second one is the hybrids may not combine the desirable characters. Usually only hundreds to 1,000 crosses show the desirable combination. That's why the process of cross hybridization is time consuming and tedious. The fourth step is selection and testing of superior recombinants. It is a crucial step to the success of the breeding objective and requires careful scientific evaluation of the progeny. It yields plants that are superior to both parents. These are self-pollinated for several generations till they reach a state of uniformity, that is homozygosity, so that the characters will not segregate in the progeny. So in this process, it's like once the hybridization is done, progeny of desired character is received, then self-fertilization, self-pollination is performed so that the uniformity is achieved, that is homozygosity is achieved, pure line of particular or product plant is achieved. The last one is testing, releasing and commercialization of new cultivators. In this step, the newly selected line are evaluated again for their yield and other agronomic traits like quality, disease resistance, and the amount of the proteins or the oils inside it. This is done by growing them in research fields and recording their performance under ideal fertilizer application, irrigation, and other crop practices. This last practice is performed under the experts that is in the research fields where the performance like their agronomical traits are conducted for the better crop management practices. The evaluation is followed by testing the material in farmers' field for at least 3 growing seasons. So once the research fields, the testing are done in the research field, then the product is grown in the farmers field for about 3 growing season at several locations in the country, representing all the agroclimatic conditions. The material is evaluated in comparison to best available local crop cultivator, a check or a reference cultivator. Now we'll learn more about the wheat and rice and other type of crops. Agriculture accounts for approximately 33% of Indians' GDP and employs nearly 62% of the population. In India, food production has increased by the development of high-yielding varieties of wheat and rice in the mid of 1960s, that is in the Green Revolution. During 1960 to 2000, wheat production is increased from 11 million tons to 75 million tons. The rice production increased from 35 millions to 89.5 million tons. Nobel laureate, that is Norman Borlaug, in International Center for Wheat and Maize Improvement, Mexico, developed a semi-dwarf wheat with all the desired characteristics. In 1963, high-yielding and disease-resistant wheat varieties like Sonalika and Kalyan Sona were introduced in India. Semi-dwarf rice varieties were derived from IR8, that is developed at International Rice Research Institute IRI Philippines and Taichung Native One from Taiwan. Later, better yielding semi-dwarf varieties like Jaya and Ratna were developed in India. So that was about the wheat and the rice. Now we'll move ahead with the sugar. Here example is given, the sugar that one grow in the North India and the other that grows better in the South India. But the sugar cane that grows better in the North India was very poor sugar content, which has the very poor sugar content and yield. The other one that grows in the South India has thicker stems and higher sugar content, but they do not grow in North India. So hybridization was done between these two sugarcane with the having desirable qualities, and hybrid sugarcane was generated that have desirable qualities like high yield, thick stem, high sugar, and the ability to grow in North India. The examples are Saccharum barberi and Saccharum officinarum. Next is the millets. Hybrid maize, jowar, and bajra have been developed in India. It includes high-yielding varieties resistant to water stress. Now we will move ahead with the techniques that focuses on plant breeding for disease resistant. Plant diseases cause crop losses up to 20 to 30% or even total. Disease-resistant cultivator enhance food production and helps to reduce the use of fungicide and bactericide. So this is an advantage. Resistant to the host plant is the genetic ability to prevent the pathogen from disease. Some plant diseases, fungal disease, bacterial disease, and viral disease are here. Fungal is the rust. Example is the brown rust of wheat, red rot of sugarcane, and late blint of potato. Bacterial is black rot of crucifer. Viral is tobacco mosaic virus and turnip mosaic virus. So these are certain diseases that are related to plant. What are the methods of getting the disease-resistant plants? There are two methods. One is conventional method, another one is mutation breeding. Let us discuss the first one, that is conventional breeding techniques. The steps of conventional breeding techniques are screening germplasm for resistant sources. Number one is to screen the germplasm for resistant sources. Second one is hybridization of selected plants. Third is selection and evaluation of hybrids. And fourth one is testing and release of new varieties. Here are some examples of the crop variety breeds by conventional method. The examples are wheat, brassica, cauliflower, cowpea, and chili. Variety of wheat is Himgiri. It is resistant to leaf and stripe rust hilbun. Brassica, it is Pusa surname, that is Karan Rai, wheat rust. Cauliflower, Pusa subhara, that is resistant to black rot and curl blint black rot. So here are the certain examples of the crop variety that have used the conventional method of breeding and are resistant to diseases. Conventional breeding is constrained by availability of limited number of disease resistant genes. So this is the drawback, that it is constrained because the availability of the genes towards the disease resistant is limited. It inducing mutation, that is sudden genetic change in plants, and screening them for resistant help to identify desirable gene. Such plants can be multiplied directly or can be used in breeding. Other breeding methods are selection amongst soma clonal variant and the genetic engineering. Second method of plant breeding disease resistant is mutation breeding. Mutation can create new desirable characters not found in parental type. Mutation breeding is a breeding by mutation using chemicals or radiations like gamma rays to produce plants with desirable characters. Such plants are selected and multiplied directly or used as a source of breeding. So here mutation is induced using the mutagens, then they are either directly used or they are used as source of breeding. Mutation can create new desirable characters as we have discussed it. The example is given in mung bean resistant to yellow mosaic virus and powdery mildew were induced by the mutation. So here this example that you can write in the exam. When it's asked, write the example of mutation breeding. So you can write for the mung bean that is resistant to yellow mosaic virus and powdery mildew. Mutation breeding, it is resistant genes from wild species have introduced in the high yielding cultivated varieties. One example is given of the bindi. The wild type shows the resistant to yellow mosaic virus when it was introduced. Into the new variety from the wild type, then it gave rise to the new variety of bindi, and that is known as Parbhani Kranti. Resistant genes can be transferred by sexual hybridization between target and source plant. So this is how mutation is helpful to create the disease resistant plants. Now we will discuss about the plant breeding for developing resistance to insects. There are the morphological, biochemical or physiological characteristics that will give resistance in host crop plants. For example, like hairy leaves, solid stem in wheat, smooth leaved and nectarless cotton varieties. And the last one is high aspartic acid, low nitrogen and sugar containing maize. So these are the certain examples that is the change in morphological or the physiological or the biochemical characteristic that will provide resistance to the crop from insect. Some crop variety breeds for insect pest resistance are given. Brassica, the variety is Pusa gaurav, which is resistant to aphids. Then it's flat bean, Pusa sem 2, Pusa sem 3, which is resistant to jacid, aphids, and fruit borer. And the last one is okra, that is bindi, which is the name of the variety is Pusa savani, Pusa A4, and it is resistant to shoot and fruit borer. Why it is important to improve the food quality? The reasons are more than 840 million people do not have adequate food. 3 billion people suffer from micronutrient, protein and vitamin deficiency, that is hidden hunger. Breeding crops with high level of nutrients is called biofortification, and it helps to improve public health. So this is the important one, to have the biofortified, to have the good variety, good quality of plants, because to fulfill the hidden hunger, the deficiency of nutrients in the population. The objective of breeding for improved nutrition values or the qualities are to improve the protein content and the quality, to improve oil content and quality, to improve vitamin content in the plants, to improve micronutrients and the mineral content of the plants. So these are the objective for breeding for improving nutritional quality in the plant. Some examples of hybrids with improved nutrition quality, like maize hybrids having twice the amount of amino acids, lysine and tryptophan compared to the existing maize hybrids. Second one is a wheat variety, Atlas 66. It has high protein content. Third one is iron fortified rice that contain 5 times much more iron as in the comparison with the common variety of common variety of rice. Certain more examples are vegetable crops that are rich in vitamins and minerals, released by Indian Agricultural Research Institute in New Delhi. Vitamin A enriched carrots, spinach and pumpkin. Vitamin C enriched bitter bathua and mustard tomato. Iron and calcium enriched spinach and bathua. Then protein enriched beans like broad, lablal, French beans and garden peas. So these are the certain examples of improved varieties of vegetables in it. Now we are moving to the new topic, that is single cell protein, which is also known as SCP. It is an alternate sources of protein for animals and human nutrition. Why it is so? The reason is written down. A 250 kg cow produces only about 200 gram of protein per day, but 250 gram of microorganism like spirulina or methylophilus methylotrophus produces 25 tons of proteins per day. It is due to the high rate of biomass production and the growth. So that's why single cell protein like spirulina is far better to produce, to have the good quality of protein in it. Single cell protein is rich in protein, minerals, fats, carbohydrates and vitamins. It is grown like spirulina is an example which is exploited, which is being much used as a single cell protein, SCP. Why? Because it is grown on materials like waste water from the potato, processing plants, then straws, molasses, animal manure, and sewage. So it can be grown in the organic waste or the residue. Spirulina also reduces environmental pollution. So these are the advantages of using spirulina as acetate. The next topic that we are moving ahead with the tissue culture. It's a technique of growing plant cells, tissues, or organs in a sterile culture medium under controlled aseptic conditions. The ability to generate whole plant from any cell explant is called totipotency. An explant is any part of the plant. Any plant, any part means any part, like you can say the stem, it could be leaf or part of a root. So when an explant that grows in a test tube under sterile nutrient medium will give the entire new plant. A nutrient medium must provide a carbon source. Example is given: sucrose, inorganic salts, vitamins, amino acids, and growth regulators like auxin, cytokinin, etc. to the plants for its better growth. The method of producing thousands of plants in very short time through tissue culture is known as micropropagation. These plants will be genetically identical. That's why they are known as soma clones. Tomato, banana, apple, etc. are produced by this method. There are different types of tissue culture. One by one we will learn it. The first one is meristem culture. Tissue culture is also used for recovering healthy plants from the diseased plant. How it can be done? By just isolating the meristem that is always free from the virus from the infected plant, and it is grown in vitro to obtain a virus-free plant. Scientists have cultured meristems of banana, sugarcane, and potato to have the virus-free plants. Then is the somatic hybridization. First one was meristem hybridization. Then second is somatic hybridization. It is a fusion of protoplast. As you can see in the figure, cells are isolated. Then in a Petri plate, cells are present of two different varieties of plants. Then protoplast was induced to fuse with each other. It will give a somatic cell hybridization which contain genes, chromosomes from both the plants, and finally that plant is allowed to grow. So it is a fusion of protoplast from two different varieties of plants with desirable characters to get hybrid protoplast. It can be grown to form new plant called somatic hybrids. Protoplast can be isolated after digesting the cell walls of plant cells. Here are some examples, like protoplast of tomato and protoplast of potato. When it was fused, the result got is pomato. This hybrid plant has the characteristic of tomato and potato, but it has no all desired characteristic for its commercial utilization. So examples, the few more examples are given: the fusion of sweet lime and orange. Here you can see the apple and orange. So such kind of methods like somatic hybridization is used to get the two different plants, two different organisms characteristic in a single organism. So in this video, we have learned about the plant hybridization, single cell protein, what are the advantages, why it is needed, how the plant breeding is being done. Also, we have learned the tissue culture to get the good varieties of food. So we have discussed the strategies, different strategies to enhance, to improve the food quality, food production. Thanks for watching.